When a politician says something, you should always add a huge amount of salt to that very thing. More importantly, this situation with Tim Walz, Kamala Harris's VP pick, is no different. On multiple occasions, Tim has said that he was actively in military combat, but that's not true. He enlisted to be in the military, and he was in the military, but he dropped out as soon as his team was deployed in Afghanistan. I guess that is better than Kamala, who slept with a popular politician to gain success. This is the best possible combo we could ever ask for. Tim let the 2020 protesters loot and steal and actually burn all of the major city to the floor. The few that were arrested, Kamala bailed them out. A match made in atheist heaven. With that being said, we're going to be digging into that and a lot more on today's episode.
Facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past.
Digging right in, we actually have exactly who Tim Walz actually is. And Tim Walz is an abandonment, a disgrace of the military. How do you join the military, and then as soon as your team that you are just with gets enlisted to go into combat, you drop out? You're like, nah, I don't want any part of this. Why would you ever join the military in the very first place if all that you wanted to do was just be there so you can use it for political gain later on? It's just stupid. According to this Federalist article here, we have Bill Amiski got married in 2013 in August. The National Guard unit was deployed to Kuwait just 6 months later. Says this person that was actually in the same exact group as Tim Walz. The War on Terror veteran served 2 years and 2 tours of duty in the Middle East, including in Iraq. As a soldier in the administrative wing, at points teaching Iraqi soldiers how to write press releases and use social media. The work wasn't dangerous, but the deployments for a newlywed were anything but convenient. Quote, for the first 3 years of my marriage, I was deployed for 2 of them. Amiski, content director at the Minnesota-based Millcleaver Institute, told the Federalist Thursday during a phone interview, yes, there's always a reason not to go. Lots of reasons, but Amiski and his comrades put their lives on hold when their country called. Walz chose politics over his battalion. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has had his own reasons for leaving too. In March of 2005, after 24 years of the National Guard, Walz calls it quits. He wanted to run for Congress. He departed in the middle of a 6-year enlistment and amid talk of a mobilization to pursue his political dream. Walz, a neighborly socialist, quote unquote, tapped as vice president of Kamala Harris' running mate. At the time, said service is service. Quote, as command sergeant major, I have quote, as a command sergeant major, I have a responsibility not only to ready my battalion for Iraq, but also to serve if I am called on. I have decided to serving my country is the best ability, whether that is in Washington, D.C. or Iraq, he said in March of 2005 in a statement. Okay, but that's not the same thing whatsoever. Being a politician and you know, going to parties and going to these events in Washington, D.C. is not the same thing as actively serving to protect our freedom here in America, to protect freedom abroad. That's not remotely the same thing. And obviously, this is talking from a person coming from Tim Walz, a person that never actively served in the military. And there's no evidence of this whatsoever. All the media reports from 2005 to 2008 were saying, oh, he's so good. He's so good. Oh, he's really good. Oh, he's really good. He used to serve in the military. When? Because according to all reports, according to people that he actively was in the same exact battalion with, he never actively served in the military. He was enlisted for the military. He was never in a combat zone. But on the other hand, the other vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, actively served in the military in Afghanistan, did not give up his battalion for his ambitions in politics. No, that's not true at all. That was a few days after the National Guard's Public Affairs Office announced a, quote, possible parental mobilization of roughly 2,000 troops from Minnesota National Guard. The announcement that, quote, all or a portion of Walz's battalion could be mobilized to serve in Iraq within the next 2 years. As the head cheese, Walz was looking at a deployment to a war-torn nation. Quote, I don't want to speculate on the shape of my campaign will take if I was deployed, but I have no plans to drop out of the race, the Democrat said at the time. I am fortunate to have a strong group of authentic supporters and a very dedicated and intelligent wife. Both will be a major part of my campaign, whether I am in Minnesota or Iraq. Okay, so if they do have like a caring relationship as like a husband and a wife, why is it that on the campaign trail, Walz went to go and shake his wife's hand? Like, who goes and shakes their wife's hand? And then the wife was like, no, come in here for a hug. Like, what's going on here? This is the most awkward campaign I ever saw. It's ridiculous. Like, how are you this awkward with your own wife? You're supposed to be married to this lady. And you're sitting there trying to shake her hand, being all awkward, like, oh, come here. Oh, should I hug you? Oh, cooties. Like, what are you even talking about? This is your wife, my man. This is your wife. And you're sitting here acting like, oh, ooh, should I hug her? Should I not hug her? Does she still like me? Does she have a crush on me? Like, what? She's married to you. I can't. No, this is just so awkward. This is the most awkward campaign. But listen, this is what they're saying, guys. They're saying that this is the joy campaign. Joy from inside out. This just full with life and full with happiness. And this campaign will never be sad. And this will never have a dull moment. And you guys, the ones that are actively going out and searching for evidence to actually say, well, this is actually not a good campaign, guys. You should be looking at the facts instead of just feelings. Me, aka, we are the bad guys, according to the media. We are the people that are filled with we're meanie beanies. We're just really bad people. We're mean because we are looking at Kamala Harris and saying, no, we're not going to put up with you. Please, we do not want to put up with you. That's not mean. That's actually just doing what's right for the country, going based on the facts and not emotions. When you start making emotional decisions, that's when you make decisions that are bad. That's when you start making decisions that put yourself into a position that is not good. This is exactly what happens time and time again, and this is not a good thing. So, that would have a definite impact on morale for your command sergeant major to that, he said. He's training with you, getting ready with you with the expectation that you are going to war. And this guy suddenly says, quote, I'm going to retire and run for Congress. You bet there's going to be gumbling about that. Of course, because of the fact that you want to serve in Washington, D.C. instead of serving your country with the people that you just said that you will never, I will never let you guys down. I will never, and then you let them down. When are you going to stop lying? Oh my goodness. It's just crazy because a lot of people just don't even know this. Yes, Tim Walz never served in active combat because he went into Washington, D.C. instead. So, moving into the next article from the Federalist, we have, if Democrats want proof foreigners are registering to vote, Virginia just found 6,303 examples. This is not good. This is another subset of examples that we just saw a few weeks ago. And I think it was actually on last week's show that we talked about this. Pennsylvania has saw a lot of foreigners registering in our elections. It's illegal immigrants voting in our elections because they're registering to vote. And they're saying, oh, no, this is not possible. You can't do that. Okay, they're doing it. What are you going to do about that? Oh, no, this can't happen. But it's happening. But it can't happen. It is happening. It doesn't matter if it can't happen. It's like if a guy's flying in the middle of the air, we're seeing it with our bare eyes, and somebody's like, no, humans can't fly. But he's flying. Yeah, but humans can't fly. But he's flying. Look at the person in the sky, literally flying in the air. Open your eyes, put your glasses on if you need glasses, use binoculars. I don't really care what you use. Look at the thing in front of your face. This is like so obvious that I'm just surprised that people are just this. I'm not really surprised. I'm not gonna lie here. I'm actually not surprised that America didn't even choose Kamala Harris. That's the funny part here. I was gonna say, like, I'm not surprised that America chose Kamala Harris, but the thing is, America never chose Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was just blatantly appointed to the position. Okay, so as part of their embarrassing smear campaign against Republicans worried about the integrity of America's elections, legacy media has twisted themselves into pretzels trying to convince the country that foreign nationals interfering in the United States electoral system is a non-existent problem. So-called journalists and their Democratic policy allies regularly claim concerns about non-citizens registering ahead of the 2024 election are baseless because it's already illegal for foreigners to cast ballots in the federal contests. Okay, but it's happening. Doesn't matter if it's illegal, it's happening. It's like people running a red light. Okay, but it's illegal to run the red light. Yes, but people are doing it. Yes, but it's illegal. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's illegal. People are still doing it. Put a cop there. Like, I'm like, oh my God, how stupid. Of course, these self-professed, quote, experts on, quote, misinformation conveniently decline to mention that there's no enforcement mechanism to prevent this from happening. Of course. It's like if there's no cop there, nobody's going to stick to the speed limit. If there's no cop there, people are not going to stop at the red light. If there's no cop here, why are you going to follow the law? That's exactly what happens. And if there's no mechanism to actually hold people accountable for speeding, for running red lights, what's stopping people from doing so? Nothing. Or the numerous Democrat-run cities have granted illegal aliens the ability to vote and manipulate races, which voting at all is not good. Yet, for all the hyperbolic grandstanding in opposition to ensuring only eligible Americans have a say in United States elections, Democrats have no legs to stand on when it comes to foreign nationals voting in our elections. And they are, in fact, registering to vote. In an executive order directing state agencies to undertake election security efforts ahead of the November election, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin revealed on Wednesday that the Commonwealth's Department of Elections, ELECT, has removed more than 6,300 citizens, non-citizens I should say, from its voter rolls since the administration took office. Quote, all data collected by the DMV that identifies non-citizens is shared with ELECT, which uses it to scrub existing voter rolls and remove non-citizens who have purposefully or accidentally registered to vote. Which, how can it accidentally happen? Because this is exactly what they're doing here. They're saying, like, as soon as you get your license, you're enrolled to vote. That's exactly what they did in my state. I didn't even realize this because a lot of my friends, they're already enrolled to vote and they don't want to vote. They never wanted to vote. They never even enrolled to vote. But as soon as they went and got their ID or got their permit, they were automatically enrolled to vote. So why? Why is it? In Massachusetts, at least, it's because of the fact that if a foreign national or a foreign non-citizen comes into the state, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, driver's license, please. They'll give them their eligibility to vote, and then they'll send something in the mail and say, okay, you can vote from home. Don't worry. Don't come to the polling place. It's okay. Just vote from home. That's exactly what's happening here, because Massachusetts already said that they want illegal immigrants voting in our elections. Virginia is the only is one of the only 3 states to require individuals to provide their full 9-digit security number when registering to vote, according to Youngkin. In his order, the GOP governor instructed elect Commissioner Susan Bales to provide him with annual confirmation that the state's proper election protocols are, quote, in place and the local registrars are fully trained on. These critical procedures, this includes rules governing ballot deadlines, ballot chain of custody, tabulation machines, and verifying election results to ensure accuracy. Of course, and this is exactly what should happen in our elections because of the fact that we need to make sure that we're actually doing this the correct way and illegals are not voting in our elections. It's very simple to understand here. Why are we going to have a person that has no say and does not care about this country whatsoever to vote in our elections? I'm a citizen. I love this country. America is the best country. But we're not going to sit here and just say, oh, well, America's the best country, but we'll have non-citizens voting in our elections. Why would we ever do that? It just doesn't make any sense. Beals must also ensure elect is updating Virginia's voting rules daily and removing ineligible registrants, including those who have moved out of the state, died, or are felons, or are individuals who are unable to verify that they are citizens, of course. If you cannot verify that you're a citizen of America, then you should not vote in our election. Less people voting in our election is a good thing. That's what I think. It's not less democracy. It's actually making sure that the people that are voting in it are actually smarter, are actually citizens. That's exactly what I think here. Youngkin further directed the state DMV to expedite the interagency data sharing with, quote, elect of non-citizens by generating a daily file of non-citizen transactions, including addresses and documents. As noted by the governor, registrars are required by the Virginia law to cancel the registration of any individual who registered to vote by falsely claiming that they are a citizen and must report such cases to their local Commonwealth agency. Our election security model is designed to prevent illegal voters and guarantee legal votes are accurately counted. Youngkin wrote, however, security procedures can only be as strong as the state and federal law which governs voting. Further strengthening of Virginia's election security system will rely on strengthening state and federal law. I completely agree because of the fact that we need to actually do something about the illegal problem voting in our elections, because if you were to go to another country as an American, you will not be invited to vote for their election. Why would it go the opposite way? It just does not make any sense. If we were to go into China illegally, we would be shot, number one. But if we somehow managed to go and try to vote, which I don't even think they do, but let's just say hypothetically you're voting for, I don't know, a highway system or something. It's not really going to happen. Xi Jinping is going to just make the decision for you. You're going to buy the highway system. But let's just say hypothetically here, you're going to be voting for some minuscule thing that doesn't really matter. Whatever. A non-citizen would never be able to vote. Let's just use Japan. Japan, that will never happen. A person can't even become a citizen of Japan if you're not Japanese. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about America trying to quote unquote be the melting pot of all these different things. And then we're just allowing everybody to just come in here. Hey, a country with no borders is the best country according to the Democrats, right? No, it's not true. If we have a country that does not have a big melting pot and then you all melt together and then you become Americans together and you speak the same language and you do the same exact things, that's fine. But that's not the case. And I'm not talking about religion because religion is something different. You can choose your religion. But if we're not going to come together at least and say that America is a great country, then why are we going to sit here and provide you with all of the benefits of America as an illegal citizen? If you do not like America, do not come here. If you do not like America and you're a citizen, leave. Nothing is stopping you. Leave the country. I love America. America is the best country. I repeatedly say this. Go to another country, you'll see how third world or Orwellian it is. Look at United Kingdom right now. When United Kingdom is actively arresting people for making just posts on X, posts on Twitter, posts on Facebook that is anti-government, which is just disgusting, by the way. United Kingdom should be absolutely ashamed of themselves that they came this far and actually doing this to their own people. But the thing is, the United Kingdom has been doing a lot of things wrong lately. Like their plug, when you go to plug something in like a charger or something, it's just wrong. They drive on the wrong side of the road. They call it petrol, I believe, instead of gas. There's a lot of different words. Just like how instead of a babysitter, you actually call it a baby minder, which is actually just a babysitter, but it's just another name for that. And then they call it something else. I don't know. They just have these random names for things, which I don't even care about. No. So the United Kingdom has been on the wrong track for such a long time already. They're just going down this track of just falling off the cliff. Like, what are you doing? Canada, don't even get me started with America's evil top hat. Canada's just off the rails. They're allowing people to actually just inflict self-harm, but in boxes now. So now there's counties with higher deaths from self-harm or actively just taking the pill to actually just end your life than actually people dying from natural causes, which is just disgusting. So yeah, so these countries are going down the drain. We should use this as a warning sign in America to actually stop everything that's going on. Just stop it. Just stop, full stop, get Kamala Harris out of here. Just wipe out the whole entire government, start from fresh. That's exactly what Trump should do come January. So, Kamala Harris cannot articulate the case for voting for her, according to the Federalist, of course, because Kamala Harris, quote unquote, fell out of a coconut tree and she has no idea what she's even doing. She lives in the context at which she lives, okay? And she is not burdened by what has been. And she's only paying attention to the future because in the past, she was unburdened. But now she is burdened because it's the present. But in the future, she can continue doing stuff to actually get her to the future. Like waking up every day, right? In a discussion about vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris, surging in the polls last week, pollster Joe Rogan stated the obvious. A podcaster. I was going to say pollster. What? Quote, she's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden, she's our solution. Rogan is right. The vice president has been a national joke for 4 years, topped by President Joe Biden because he promised his base that he would choose a woman of color. He suddenly became a serious contender in the presidential race, and now she's picked as a radical Minnesota governor with a disastrous record to round out her ticket. What exactly is Kamala Harris's appeal? She's the same unlikable and authentic candidate. She was forced to drop out in 2020 Democratic presidential primary before a single vote was cast. For starters, she's not Biden, whose implosion on the CNN's national debate triggered 3 weeks of despair inside the party, during which many Democrats have resigned themselves to certain defeat. Biden's decision to drop out of the race was a tremendous relief, for Democrats at least. Not all party leaders were pleased by the endorsement of Harris on his way out, but after their deliverance from an inevitable rout, they would have settled for Genghis Khan as their nominee. What would amount for Kamala Harris's meteoristic rise from political pariah to Democrat star in 2 weeks? Well, Kamala Mania is not based on reality. It is purely a media-driven construct. The legacy media has joined with Democrats in a full-court press to catapult Harris over the finish line by whatever means necessary, even lying reportedly. George Stephanopoulos repeatedly is interviewing people and saying, well, why are you bringing up the fact that she had slept with a former political contender and now she rose in politics? Well, because she did. Like, what are you even talking about? Why do you keep bringing it up? Because she did. Do you have a problem? Do you have a problem with her doing it? Because I certainly have a problem, and I'm not afraid to say it. Are you having some sort of problem with me pointing out the obvious fact that she slept with a person to get into politics? Are you having a problem with that? Because I have a massive problem with that. Of course. Why are we going to have politicians in our Senate and vice president that are not qualified for the positions and only got there because of the fact that they slept with the right people? These are the people that we need in the Senate or the vice presidency. It's true. 100%. It's 100% true. And don't get mad at me for telling the fact of the matter here. Don't get mad at me for saying exactly what Kamala Harris did. Get mad at Kamala Harris for being Kamala Harris, falling out of a coconut tree. With that being said, we're going to be digging into the headlines of the week. Moving on to the first article, we actually have a Daily Wire article. We have Harris accepts only one debate and refuses to commit to more against Trump. Okay, so who is actually denying the debate now? Because if Kamala Harris has said repeatedly, oh, Joe, Trump is scared of me, Trump is scared of me, oh, Trump is scared of me. Okay, well, Trump said, let's debate. Okay, if I'm scared of you, let's debate. Kamala Harris says, no, you're so funny, ha, 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 I'm not going to debate you. Okay, so who's scared of a debate? It's you. You are scared of the debate against Trump because the last time Trump debated somebody, they had to leave the race. So, vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris confirmed on Thursday that her participation in one debate before the year's election, which is 2 fewer than the former President Trump is proposing. A campaign official said that Harris will not agree to September 4 presidential debate on Fox News that was floated by Trump. ABC News correspondent Sanita Wing shared in a post on X. Wing further reported, citing the same official, that Harris's views future debates as contingent on Trump showing up to the ABC News debate that was set up for September 10. Okay, this is the most annoying thing that could possibly happen, and this makes me so mad. Trump originally, okay, I'm going to say this slow for the slow people that are Democrats, right? Trump accepted the 3 debates with Joseph R. Biden, the president of the United States, which is missing in action. And now, when you switch out the person, it is not the same rules, right? If I go to my stockbroker and I say I want to buy $100 worth of Apple stock, my broker does not then give me $100 worth of Starbucks stock and say that you still invested $100 into stock. So why are you complaining? What do you mean, why am I complaining? Because it's not the same thing. I wanted Apple. You gave me Starbucks. It's not the same thing. It's still $100. It's the same exact money. It's the same exact situation, but it's not the same stock. That's not what I bought. It's like you buy something on Amazon. You bought, let's just say, a water bottle on Amazon, but you spent $10. Then they give you a $10 candle instead. Yes, it's still $10. I still got a product, but it's not the same thing. Oh my God, I just can't believe the Democrats are being this stupid. How? I mean, they're doing this on purpose, obviously. How does one think that the same exact rules apply to a different candidate? It's not the same rules. It's not the same thing. It's not remotely the same situation at all. Why is Trump going to sit here and open up himself to go in a hostile environment when Kamala Harris will not even answer questions? It's been 19 days. Well, 20 days today. 20 days that Kamala Harris refused to answer any questions from the media. 0 questions, 0 interviews, 0 accountability, and 0 self-worth. Well, actually, I would lie on the last one, I should say. Kamala Harris thinks that her worth is like sky high. Like she thinks that she's worth trillions of stars. Like she thinks that she's worth all that and more. Okay. So, Wayne further reported that, citing the same official, that Harris's views future debates are being contagion on Trump showing up to the ABC News debate that was set up for September 10. Earlier, Trump and his campaign revealed plans to participate in 3 debates next month, including ABC and Fox News events. They said that the third will be held on NBC News on September 25th. I think this is too late, though. I think this is way too late because of the fact that I don't want to wait that long. Not only that, but also I think this is way too late because of the fact that it's November that people are going to be voting. And if you do not remember already, people vote early. So people would be voting in September, early voting for November, and they're already going to cast their vote. And then the debate's going to come on and they're going to be like, well, I already cast my vote, so it is what it is. What do you mean it is what it is? You cannot change your vote once you cast it. So it is what it is. Once you send in that ballot, there's no way to stop it. So you better choose the right person. I say everybody wait to send in their ballots until October 1st. I mean, I obviously know that I'm voting for Trump. There's no changing my answer. I know that the economy was better under Trump. I know that the inflation was better under Trump. I know that gas prices was better under Trump. Market prices were better under Trump. Every single aspect of my portfolio, because I invest in stocks, gold, silver, platinum, all of that was sky high under Trump. The NASDAQ was up during Trump. Now, boom, the Kamala crash came in and all the stock market goes down. All of the meat prices go up. Everybody's crying in their car because they can't even afford housing because the inflation rate's so high. It's just disgusting. And of course, Trump talks about this here. So, right, this is exactly Trump's response on this. So former President Trump, according to the Daily Wire, said on the Thursday press conference that he agreed to 3 debates with 3 different television networks in September and is awaiting vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris's confirmation. During the press conference at Mar-a-Lago Estate, the Republican presidential nominee said that he agreed to the debate against Harris on Fox News on September 4th, another debate on ABC News on September 10th, and a third debate on NBC News on September 25th. So one right wing, one left wing, no, 2 left wing, and 1 right wing. Trump is actually giving you the benefit of the doubt, Kamala. Quote, we have spoken to the heads of the networks and it's all being confirmed, other than some very minor details, Trump said. The other side has to agree to the terms, he added, referring to Harris's campaign. This may or may not agree. I don't know. She hasn't done an interview. She can't even do an interview. She's barely competent. She can't do an interview because I look forward to the debates because we have to set the record straight. Completely agree. Harris has criticized Trump in recent weeks after the former president suggested that he wanted to wait for Harris to officially be nominated before completely agreeing to debate her last week. Trump said that he would, quote, probably debate Harris, but added, quote, I can make the case for not doing it, which I don't think that was the right call. Trump blasted Harris's time as vice president overseeing the border crisis in her early exit from the 2020 Democratic primary. He also said that the, quote, presidency was taken away from Joe Biden, arguing, quote, he had the right to run and they took it away. I completely agree with that. What they've done is pretty incredible, he continued. You'd think that they would have gone out to a vote they would have had a primary system. They would have done something, but they would just take it away from him like he was a child. He had 14 million votes. Harris had no votes. I completely agree. Harris actually lost the primary in 2020 because of the fact that she got 0 votes and she just dropped out. So what makes you think that she's such a good candidate now? Because she's a woman of color. Yes, that's the fact here. With that being said, we're going to sum up this episode here. If you did like this episode and you do want to see more, please like and subscribe down below because I do post new episodes of my show every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And I hope they have a great rest of your day, because if you actually pay attention to politics like I do, this is a very, very, very big election cycle, and a very big situation in America, because we need to remember that they hate us. The Democrats hate us. Remember this in November. They hate us. They hate you, and they hate your family. They hate your rights. They hate the fact that you protect yourself. We're going to repeat this every single day until Election Day, because we need to remember this. Democrats do not want you to protect yourself. They want to make sure that illegals, they want to make sure that criminals can protect themselves when they're actually stealing from you and robbing you and killing your family and threatening you. That's exactly the case in Minneapolis. That's exactly the case in major cities, major states here. That's exactly what's going to happen. And that's exactly what is happening. With that being said, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And I hope they have a great one.